Hello,
All right.
everybody, and welcome. I'm very excited to be welcoming you to this exciting feature that we have of our integrated attachment theory certified relationship coaches who will be sharing powerful insights today with you. Each of the participants has completed over 40 hours of training with myself personally and has passed their exam where we covered integrated attachment theory. And we did a really deep dive into helping people heal, helping people transform, how to help people identify their attachment style, and then really understand the different core wounds, the different needs, the different emotional patterns, boundaries, so many different features. Each of these members here today is skilled at being able to assist in transforming. So we will have at the end of this video, if you really resonate with any of the coaches or facilitators here, we will have links to everybody's email and to websites of different members along with their names featured in the description box below. And we're going to kick it off with our first certified coach. And the very first question I have here is, what are some of the biggest fears of the anxious preoccupied and why?
I would say for the anxious preoccupied, the biggest fear is definitely being abandoned, losing connection, because a lot of their needs kind of revolve around connection. They really desire intimacy, to be close, all those things. And another thing they are afraid of is to be unsafe. And a lack of certainty can definitely put them in a very difficult spot.
Beautiful. And why do you think this happens for anxious preoccupieds and specifically?
I think in their childhood, what happens is their caregivers were really inconsistent. So they were at half the time present, half the time not. So that intermittent reinforcement kind of programs them to sort of fear abandonment, because they are kind of just thinking when they'll get the attachment next, and that can dysregulate their nervous system.
Beautiful, beautiful answer. And thank you so much. And where can we learn more about you?
I have my website and my email ID as well. So you can definitely reach out to me there. And there I have all my description. I'm actually also studying psychology at the moment right now. So I've also learned a lot of different tools CBT, acceptance and commitment therapy, rational emotive behavioral therapy. So apart from that, I have learned these as well. And integrated attachment theory is definitely been very useful, because I think one of the things that IAT does is it considers the needs of individuals, which I think a lot of other techniques in the psychology world don't consider. And that is one thing I really loved about integrated attachment theory.
Beautiful.
So that is.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and beautiful share. And we will have San's link in the description box below. Okay, ready, Sarah? So we are going to go into our next question here with Sarah. So Sarah, what are the top 2 tools that you think will help dismissive avoidance along their healing journey?
Oh my gosh, I love this question. I think that the biggest job for a dismissive avoidant is to really be vulnerable and let other people in. And so there's a few ways that you can do this. But one of my favorite ways to do this is to constantly check in with your emotions as much as possible. And this can be really hard at first. I highly recommend doing this with a coach. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but trying to just check in throughout the day. And at the end of the day, if you can journal from 8 to noon, noon to 4, 4 to 8 p.m., and just check in to see what was I feeling at this part of the day? What emotion was I feeling? How did that emotion feel in my body? And go slow, start small. Just name the emotion, start with that. And then as you grow, you can start to feel what the emotion feels like in your body.
Amazing.
Was that just one? I just said one
tool.
That was
one tool. Yeah. If you want to give a second too.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what a second one would be. Second one would just be communication. So actually practicing scripts, which we've got a lot of them in the personal development school, as well as working with a coach. You can start to develop scripts on how to communicate with your partner. So once you identify your emotion, you know what you're feeling, then you can start to practice how to say that feeling to your partner, your boss, your friend, the person in the grocery store that you're talking to that you need help from, all those different types of people, so that you can safely start to communicate.
Beautiful. And where can we learn more about you? I know you have a podcast.
Yes. So you can learn more about me at sarahcohan.com. That's SARAHCOHAN.com. And I've got a podcast that's called Lit AF. Thais has been a guest on it. It's amazing. It's all about personal and spiritual growth for attachment theory. And you can listen to that on anywhere you can find a podcast.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank
Great,
you.
Erin. Great job. Amazing. Okay, Julia, you are next if you're ready. So my question for you today is, what needs are important for anxious preoccupieds to express to their partner, and how can they best do this?
Well, the anxious preoccupied really likes consistency and validation and reassurance. So I think it's very important for the anxious preoccupied to express that they need assurance on a regular basis. And also when they are feeling like they are struggling and because maybe they are self-abandoning, then they need to practice more self-soothing, which is something that the anxious preoccupied normally struggles with. And we can also look at this in a coaching.
Beautiful. And where can we learn more about you?
You can find my my details in the description box, and also the link to my website. I just wanted to share what was one of the most important discoveries for me in my work with the attachment style and all the concept in IAT. I loved learning about personality needs. So to discover what are our authentic self coordinates, where we excel at, when we feel in alignment with ourselves, where we flourish when we talk to other people. And it really amazed me to find out by asking just some specific questions, what are the patterns behind our thinking and our actions. And I really love to do that with other people. So if you want to find more about this, you can work with me, you can contact me, you find the details in the description box. You can email me under julia.zillinger .iatcoach@gmail.com. And I'm based in Germany, so we can speak German, obviously, and also some French. And looking forward to working with you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Beautiful share. Okay, ready, Mico? If you want to unmute, perfect. Okay, so my question for you is, what are the biggest fears of the fearful avoidant attachment style, and where do you think these come from?
I like that question a lot. I used to be an extreme DA myself, so I relate to these. I think the biggest fears are believing that they are bad, and believing that they are alone and unloved. Sorry, that's 3. So I think the I am bad can usually come from a lot of chaotic experiences or individuals present in their childhood. Unfortunately for kids, this lack of consistency can usually equate to a lack of safety. And because children don't have the ability to think critically about their experiences, they can usually internalize these experiences. So they internalize the chaos that they experience as a result of them not behaving well enough, or behaving properly in order to get the reaction that they wanted from their caregiver, which is kind of unfortunate, because then this child experiences things that are not meeting their needs, or maybe scary and uncomfortable for them, and they think it's a result of themselves. So they think that I should have been better, I should have handled that better. And another consequence sometimes of chaotic parenting is that the parent isn't always available and able to meet the needs of their child. So the child can still think like, this is a result of me. I should have done something better. I should have not needed anything from them. I shouldn't have asked them for anything. I should have tried to make it easier for them. And they think that they are responsible for walking on eggshells around their parent in order for the parent to give them what they need. And that really is unfair. And, you know, unfortunately, it leads to the child then believing this and like carrying these behaviors into their adult life. So it'll lead them to like people please and like avoid having any boundaries, not being comfortable with communicating what they need from people. So it's definitely something that you can work on and improve, but until you really are aware of the effects that it's having, it can cause you a lot of unnecessary suffering in your relationships for sure.
Beautiful answer. Thank you so much. And
Thanks.
where can we learn more about you?
So my website is called The Growth Approach. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. I'm doing the free discovery calls for 30 minutes. So anyone who's interested can just let me know when a good time is for them, and we can talk about what they're experiencing with their attachment style and what they'd like to work on.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, and beautiful share.
Thanks. Thanks.
Awesome. Okay, Max, you are next if you're ready. I'm just going to make sure. Okay, I wanted to make sure everybody's muted. Okay, Max. Yeah. Hi, nice to see you.
Yeah, hi, Thais.
So
Nice to see you too.
Thank you. So what can a dismissive avoidant do when they are feeling criticized?
Ideally, the dismissive avoidant shouldn't withdraw, as they're prone to do when they're criticized. Basically, usually they would shut down, etc. They should practice vulnerability and communicate that this criticism hurt them. And ideally, if they practice, they could also express why it hurt them and what they would like instead. That would be good to support the relationship, that they don't climb up and withdraw, and instead that they communicate. And vulnerability is very important for a healthy relationship. And that's what is required when you're hurt, because sometimes people hurt other people without actually knowing that they're stepping on some hurtful things, maybe from the past or whatever, or sometimes they don't think or are upset or stressed, or even one thing which is important for dismissive avoidance, words are very hurtful. Whereas for other attachment styles, words are not so hurtful. And that's why sometimes, a fearful avoidant for whom actions are more hurtful, they might kind of misperceive the actual impact which their words had on the dismissive avoidant.
Beautiful answer. Thank you so much. And where can we learn more about you?
I have a website, which is vitalmeaning.com. And there I also share some of your tools in blog form. For example, the emotional processing tool, which from my perspective is the workhorse in the personal development school. So, for everyone who hasn't read about the emotional processing tool, I encourage you to read about this on my blog, for example, or of course join the BDS and apply it.
Beautiful.
It's going to be a real big life changer.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I know that's my favorite tool as well, so I'm biased, but thank you so much, Max. Beautiful share. Okay, Carrie, you are next if you're ready. So Carrie, my question for you is, what can a fearful avoidant do instead of deactivating?
Oh, that's a good one for me, because I have been a fearful avoidant for many years until I came across you. I think what a fearful avoidant can do is really start to pay attention to when they're deactivating. Like, that's an active thing they're doing, right? That's an active choice they're making to pull back or hide or withdraw or find something wrong with somebody, or start to really kind of question, is this person the right one over maybe trivial things? So what they can really do ultimately is really become conscious of what they're thinking, how they're feeling, and what their actions are, how they're behaving. And when we can become conscious of that through a lot of what we do through IAT, then we can minimize those deactivating strategies and really see when they're coming up for us and choose another action.
I love that. Beautiful share. And thank you so much. And where can we learn more about you?
Well, like everyone here, I have a website, Your Intentional Life. I'm also on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter.
Beautiful. And we'll have all those details, of course, down below. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, Arina, am I pronouncing that correctly? Beautiful. Okay.
Yep.
So my question for you is, what is your favorite tool for a fearful avoidant to practice in order to emotionally regulate when they are triggered?
I mean, I would say the emotional regulation tool. So I'm a fearful avoidant I am a fearful avoidant myself. I'm sorry, I'm flustered right now. So practicing noticing and questioning your stories, I think, is a really important thing to work on when you're triggered. And until you do that, you might kind of believe your triggers, your stories as a result. So going through that part of the process, that tool, questioning your stories, following up with proof, signs of, can I know for sure this is happening? Or is it something that's just like a belief that I have? Can I have like 3 or 4 pieces of proof that there is the opposite that's happening, or something else might be happening? What are other possibilities that are happening? And yeah. Sorry.
Beautiful. And where can we learn a little bit more about you?
So I'm in the process of getting all of that set up, but right now I have a website domain, theemotionallife.com. And also that's the same one on Instagram, but it's the Emotional Life Coaching on Instagram.
Beautiful. I love that. Everybody's got these really wonderful website names and very creative domain names. So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Nice to speak with you. Awesome. Okay. My question for you is, are dismissive avoidants good with their boundaries? And if not, how can they improve?
So dismissive avoidants are very good with like big boundaries and often get a big reaction or cause potentially big drama because of it. So if they can use those ideas to set smaller boundaries along the way, then they don't have to get into such a situation where they have to withdraw so significantly.
Beautiful. And do you have an example maybe?
So say, for instance, someone doesn't really want to go to the party and they go anyway, and they didn't really recognize their boundary. They get to the boundary, they're not having a good time, it's too much. And so then all of a sudden, I'm going to leave. And so if they could have communicated things earlier on about, I need you to stay by my side, I want you to kind of walk with me, I want to drive separately so I can leave whenever I'd like, it makes kind of things easier along the way, so you feel like a little more empowered.
Excellent, excellent answer. And where can we learn more about you?
My name is Siri Anseth, and I am in the work in progress on the website. So you can email me in the link below. I wanted to add a little bit more to mine if I possibly can. For me, the biggest thing is, my question was about dismissive avoidant, and I'm much more of an anxious, preoccupied. But for me, I've read all sorts of books and I've done different counseling personally. And in my mind, without any training, it was like, if I always do what I've always done, I'll always get what I've always had. Or the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. And so, I can read, I can get information in my brain, but to really affect my life, you were the first person who ever included all the different subconscious reprogramming information. And, between that and the emotional regulation, has made such a huge impact and such a huge difference on learning to learn myself, love myself, and how I show up in this, different areas of my life. And so for me, I think that the Thais Gibson content and theory is very unique. It's unique in a sense that combining both of those aspects creates actually a different outcome. Instead of just learning theory, you're actually living a new life.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Siri.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, Nadene, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Beautiful. So my question for you is, what are some of the biggest things to work on if you are fearful, avoidant, wanting to become secure?
Oh, that's such a good question. Okay, so I have been fearful avoidant for a very long time as well before starting this work a couple of years ago. And I think that's like some of the other people said, processing and understanding your emotions is huge, and realizing that just because I'm feeling something, it doesn't mean that it is actually me. I can actually question the emotions and question what I'm feeling and to be able to get my needs met, which leads me, I think I want to say two other ones, which leads to the two other ones I think that fearful avoidance we need to work on, a lot of fearful avoidance needs to work on, is expressing your needs, realizing that it is okay to get needs met by other people, understanding what it is that you actually do need, and realizing that other people are there to meet your needs. You're not just there to meet everyone else's, because a lot of fearful avoidance can be the people pleasers, the caretakers, all of that. But, you know, we have needs as well, and that's okay. And then I think the third one is boundaries, realizing that it is okay to say no. It is okay to say, this is how I'm feeling, and I'm not able to do this right now. I have this schedule right now. I've already planned it. I've already made my day, and I'm not able to do that right now. And that is okay. So expressing your needs, expressing your emotions and realizing it's not a part of you, and boundaries. I think those are the three.
Beautiful. Well done. And where can we learn more about you?
Yeah, so I have a YouTube channel called Naes Laugh, Naes Laugh. And I just talk about personal growth and development and just my process as well.
I love that. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Amazing. Okay, Dave, ready?
Hello, PDS fam.
So my question for you is, what are some of the biggest things that you can work on if you're an anxious, preoccupied style wanting to become secure?
Sure. So if you are anxious, preoccupied, and you're watching this, there's a good chance, I mean, there's 100% chance that you're relying on others to meet your fill your need buckets, and to essentially you self-soothe through other people. And it's okay. I mean, you learned to do this because you never really got direct access and a consistent modeling from your parents. And so you've essentially been looking to get this met from everyone else in your life, and not really having good strategies to meet it yourself. So as an anxious preoccupied, to really move the needle towards secure, what you really need to do is the opposite of what a dismissive avoidant needs to do, which is you need to learn to get your needs bucket halfway filled with your relationship to self. So what I highly recommend is go through the PDS school, find out what your main needs are, your personality needs. And once you get that really, once you get that down, you really understand what your needs are, you start to find strategies to do that on your own. And the more that you are able to do that, the more that you're going to feel comfortable being able to show up for yourself, and you won't be over relying on other people to do that. And that is essentially moving you towards secure, finding interdependence, right? So for a dismissive avoidant, it's relying on other people 50%. And for you, it's learning to rely on yourself 50%. So getting really clear with your needs, and really finding strategies to do that, and learn to soothe through yourself. And those are like the three main high-level points for an anxious preoccupied, I'd say.
Beautiful. Great job. And where can we learn more about you?
So Dave Picc Coach on Instagram. I'm in the process of changing my website right now. I don't have one for you guys, but you can come check me out. DM me, leave a comment, and just, communicate that way, and we can, build community.
Beautiful. Great share. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, Crystal, you ready? So my question for you today is, what are some of the biggest things dismissive avoidants can work on their path to becoming secure?
Ooh, that's a wonderful question. Thank you so much for that, Thais. One of the first things I would say that comes to mind to work on for dismissive avoidance in the path to becoming secure is to connect with themselves. So connecting with how they feel and their emotions, and instead of just kind of pushing that down. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. The second thing that comes to mind that dismissive avoidance can work on is communicating. So when they have feelings and things and needs that come up, share those with others. We have to learn our needs and then share them with other people so that they can fulfill those needs. That will help us to keep from becoming resentful. And then let's see, one more thing for dismissive avoidance to work on would be, I'd say, one of my favorites, exposure therapy, because as dismissive avoidance, sometimes we can like be kind of hesitant to do stuff, but by starting off with a small thing and working your way up, it helps a lot. So for instance, public speaking comes to mind. Start with something small, maybe just become more comfortable speaking in front of your friends, like a bigger group of friends. I love Toastmasters, that's my favorite for becoming more comfortable with speaking in front of others. And then you'll work your way up to maybe hosting a Zoom event or something like that. So, and it can happen over time.
Beautiful answer. Thank you so much. And where can we learn more about you?
Right now I'm kind of under construction as well. So I'm hoping that you can connect well will be my website. If not, definitely check the description, the box below, as well as I can be found on LinkedIn.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, and beautiful share.
So, and then I just also wanted to share a little bit about the group that I think that I may specialize in. And I think it's going to be just, first of all, let me just say I'm open to everyone because I love, you know, all learning about all kinds of attachment styles. But I think I'm going to be gearing myself towards dismissive avoidant men. And the reason is because I feel like in this society, men are expected just to stuff down their emotions so much, and they don't get a chance to express who they are and really share their needs. And once they start sharing their needs with others, they can start to be to have the relationships that are more fulfilling. They'll no longer feel trapped, and then they'll enjoy life more and have relationships that they've always wanted. Thank you.
I love that. I love that. That's a beautiful niche, and I think that it's such like an underserved space that can really use some support. So beautiful share and great answer, and thank you. So I have some really exciting news, and it's that integrated attachment theory training is back. In other words, you can be trained to become a relationship coach certified in integrated attachment theory in literally 60 days. So who's this for? Well, of course, this is for any individual who wants to make an impact and really be of service to others while also obtaining freedom and flexibility and abundance in their lives. And this is also for anybody who's already a counselor, a therapist, a coach, and just really wants to expand their toolkit. We've had so many people enter into the integrated attachment theory program because they're just looking to obtain a certain degree of mastery in terms of understanding their own attachment patterns and also the attachment patterns of maybe their children or partner or other loved ones in their lives, so they can really support those people and understand them more deeply. Now, please keep in mind that the last 2 times we ran this program, we filled up very fast. In fact, we oversold the programs and sold out completely. So if you're interested, click the link below to learn more and dive in with me. And I'd love to see you on the other side before seats run out. Okay, Jean, ready? Oh, you're just muted if you want to unmute. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so my question for you is, what are some common belief blocks fearful avoidants have when it comes to setting boundaries?
Well, fearful avoidance typically don't understand boundaries. They are an all or nothing approach to living, and they throw themselves into situations with, I'm dealing with 2 fearful avoidants right now. They throw themselves into a situation, get overwhelmed, and withdraw out. And this is sends them into emotional volatility. And that volatility can be a little unnerving for the other person in that situation. So it makes a rocky road for fearful avoidance. So boundary setting is huge. Understanding what boundaries are, understanding what their needs are, understanding what their patterns are huge to fearful avoidance. So it's understanding all of the key principles that IAT teaches and seeing that as a whole. That's the whole of their life. All of the principles that IAT teaches. Needs, boundaries, communication patterns, all of the core wounds, they need to be educated and understand that on a personal level. How's that?
Beautiful. Beautiful share. And where can we learn more about you?
Well, I'm setting up a website right now, but I have a Facebook page called Evolve Life Skills Education. And I also DM me through Facebook or just reach out through my email, which is geneleedham@gmail.com.
Perfect. Beautiful share. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, Shelley, ready? So the question for you is, what needs do you think fearful avoidants are often trying to get met when they pull away or deactivate? And what would be a better strategy to meet those needs?
So I think a lot of times a fearful avoidant pulls away when they don't feel safe or secure, and they are not getting their needs met, but the needs that need to be met are actually meeting their own needs. They tend to self-sabotage when they don't feel their needs are being met. They choose to run or fight or fawn. And I think it's one of the things that I've been working with a fearful avoidant is this 21-day reset, which you have taught us, of forming a healthy habit over your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, and actions. And motivation can start you on this process for this IAT program, but forming healthy habits of meeting your own needs and truly learning who you are instead of people pleasing, like many of fearful avoidants do. They find their self-worth in others, much like codependency. I think this reset of 21 days and the healthy habits and being disciplined in the program and what you have taught us to help our clients work with our core wounds and meeting our needs, I find are the most amazing tools. And the teachings that you've brought us have been life-changing for my clients so far.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And where can we learn more about you?
So my website is authenticwinninglife.com. And I'm also on Instagram under the same name. My name is Shelley Austin, and my email is authenticwinningcoach@gmail.com. And I've been coaching for about 2 years in another program and became highly interested in attachment style and fell in love with you and your teaching style, and you are off the chain brilliant. So I cannot thank you enough for what you have given us in this class.
That is so sweet. Thank you so much. And really wonderful share and really great answer. Thank you. Beautiful. So Shelby, my question for you is, what subconscious blocks or fears do you think anxious preoccupieds often have when setting boundaries, and what can they do?
They definitely think they're unlovable. That would probably be the very first thing that would be blocking them from wanting to set a boundary. Because if you set a boundary and you don't feel like you're lovable, then you're not allowing people to have access to you to be able to love you. So that would probably be the biggest one. Short and sweet.
Yeah, and what can they do if they want to work on that?
Oh, if they want to work on that, they just need to, I would say, they could start setting boundaries with themselves first, because they probably don't have any boundaries, period. And like some of the other coaches have said, like the anxious preoccupied, they don't really know how to love themselves yet. So putting boundaries around giving themselves time for self-care would be a really good start. And then from there, they could increase and start to set like these smaller boundaries and do some little exposure work with people that they find are really easy to already kind of try setting boundaries with, and explain, like, I'm learning this new thing. It's called boundaries. And I just want to let you know that I'm practicing this. And so I'm going to try setting them. And I just like you to know and respect them, and just try like have that communication. And it makes it a lot easier for, I think, for everyone when you have that communication and can say that.
Beautiful. Amazing. And where can we find more about you?
So I have a website and I'm on Instagram. So my Instagram is Intimacy Mistress and my website is shelbyavann.ca. And if you guys are looking for something like very specific, I'm more specific in like obviously the attachment style, but also within the realm of sexuality and spirituality. So I also offer Reiki with my services.
Beautiful, beautiful share. Thank you so much. What are the biggest core wounds of fearful avoidance and why?
Oh, a fearful avoidant have the biggest wound, and it's quite common, would be I'm unworthy and I'm unsafe and unlovable sometimes. And the fearful avoidant has grown up in a very chaotic family and environment, and have never learned to depend on anybody else or be interdependent or get their needs met. They might have been shamed for having needs, and they have also a really hard time to put down boundaries. So they try really hard to get validated and to give in order to earn their worth in a relationship. And that is not only in a romantic relationship, it can also be with friends and colleagues and different relationship in the community. It's like super giving and have a hard time taking because they feel like if I receive this, then I need to repay it even more with interest. And and all because they don't feel worthy to be cared for in a substantial way.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And where can we learn more about you?
Well, you are most welcome to email me on jasmin.eriksson@gmail.com. And Jasmin is YASMIN, and Eriksson is with a K and 2 S. So I've also been studying psychology at the university for many years. And I need to say that PDS and IAT, this integrated attachment theory education, has been so useful. And if you want to work on your attachment style and towards secure, you're welcome to contact me anytime and we'll set something up for you. Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, Mico, if you want to go ahead.
Hi. I just wanted to add on to Crystal's answer. I thought, Crystal, you gave an amazing explanation to the question about how fearful avoidance can cope with the fear of being betrayed, which is another huge fear that they experience. I thought that it might also just be important to give them some agency and to remind them that what they can also do in addition to equilibrating their stories is working on their own self-trust. That's something that I worked on a lot, and I thought that it was definitely worth mentioning that if you develop your relationship to yourself and your self-trust, you can then be equipped to handle, okay, maybe I am going to be betrayed. Maybe the story is true. Maybe the worst case scenario does happen. And even in that case, I will be okay because I can plan for it without expecting it to happen and then still feel prepared and like feel more emotionally stable if the worst case scenario happens, because I'll know that I have options. I can rely on myself, and even if this person does disappoint me, I'll be okay. I still have myself at the end of the day. And yeah, I just thought that was good to mention. Beautiful. And Crystal, amazing answer. Thanks for that.
Beautiful. That was such a beautiful share. Thank you. Okay, everybody, you all did fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you for your vulnerability to be here.